that being said, they do get to start on the defensive side with the double senti comp that we saw them play previously. But I mean, you feel like with the way that the last map went, and like kind of like how Shopify Rebellion were able to maneuver around Starbound and honestly deny Starbound from getting an operator on the defensive side, this might be a walk in the park, especially when you're running that double controller and you're able to kind of like pick and choose when you want to do your reclears, like Mimi was saying. I don't think that this is going to be easy for Wada by any means.
You know, we're setting the stage for a wild map for Wada if they somehow manage to pull this off. I like this aggro TP line.
Very cool.
Which, yeah, surely though, Shopify are aware of the possibility of this, right?
The thing is, notice the buy from Starbound. It's light armor, 4 of those headhunter bullets. Something that you don't see a lot of chambers do. So, are Shopify going to be ready for this raid boss?
Bullet buzzes right by her ear.
And this is so difficult because when you are running chamber, you need to hit shots like that. You need to put yourself in a spot where your team is up 5v4 often. That's the whole point of running this chamber composition. When you're not hitting those shots, you're not getting the value like that, it allows for Shopify Rebellion to beat you in the macro game. You're stuffed out of this B site.
Yeah. And it's just went from bad to worse. Still not getting a kill with the nade. Onto Power Pixel, you still have 3 playing up in heaven, waiting to flood out. The net will land. Donut still down to hell. 3 on the round. Make that 4. The pistol for SRG.
Oh my gosh. The last time these two teams played, it took Donut 2 maps to heat up like this. This is so scary for Wada. Donut from the last map now bringing it into this pistol round, getting a 4K. It feels bad right now for Wada. This is just so difficult. These shots were just so insane. The utility was on point. And that Ray's ultimate just going to become online for the bonus, you would imagine. 4 ult orbs on the pistol round as a Raze. Such a strong start.
Oh, yeah. You're living good.
There.
Well, no, just missing a chance of getting another. And I can't imagine they give her many more shots like this, at least early on in this round. I don't think they'll be peeking stairs or anything like that.
Here's the power of the double controller comp on the attack side. You're able to put your walls up, put your Omen smokes up to allow your Rays to take whatever isolated duels that they want. Once this Omen smoke goes down, you're going to be able to take a peek into sight. You still have your Killjoy controlling all of that C and D, at least aggressive space. As long as you don't run into a stack, you're aware you should have a free A site as well.
I mean, they are running into the stack, but so far, so good.
Yeah.
3 kills found. Quick check-in on Dodonut. Now 2 ults away, or 2 pips away from having that rocket launcher. Again, insane for round 3. And then to kind of think ahead a little bit here, Dre, it's just Starbound and Femboy that are left in a 2v5. You remember how things really got out of hand in the second half of Sunset. It was off of SRG winning the bonus. And so again, if this goes the way that we think it very well might go, SRG winning the bonus in the next round is insane for their chances to really run away with this thing.
Yeah, you do feel like you just even that much more confident. Right? We've seen what a team like Shopify Rebellion does once they feel like they have it in the bag. They just steamroll at that point, and it's not even close. So, I mean, look, Showstopper online. Not only that, you have a Phantom and full armor buy. This buy is so strong from Shopify Rebellion.
Lot invested there. Question is, where do they choose to use it? As there are guns on the other side. Wada with rifles and Power Pixel having the Odin.
And you know what? This is a very small detail, but I love it now that, like, you know, it's kind of settled across the board for Shopify. That lurk smoke makes it so Starbound has to be worried from left or right, right? So if Shopify ever actually do decide to pop on Starbound at C, they're going to be flooding from multiple angles, and the chamber might just get overwhelmed. And, like, we already saw Starbound, like, missing those, you know, first bullet shots, which, to be fair, are very hard to hit in the first place. But that is, like, the difference maker, right? If you're not connecting onto those shots, if they actually do see, which they're not this round, it could put you in a really bad spot.
We'll kind of keep that in mind in the following rounds to see if it plays out that way. As Power Pixel's able to get the first. Rocket now popped. Donut nipping at Astralis' heels. I don't think they're going to get a shot at it. Yeah, the space has been cleared. The space has been gained. But SRG not finding a kill there.
See how proactive SRG get into this post plant because they are down numbers. Paranoia into heaven.
Donut pushing forward. Zero close by. 2 up there. Metal falls. And now they're thinking twice about it as Wada in a really nice spot. A 2v4 would be required for SRG to pull off this bonus. Alexis gets 1, and that's all it is. Wada on the board.
Yeah, picked apart. See the power of the deadlock on the defense. The first time this half, that wall just making it so whatever B split was coming in is delayed enough. And also, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Power ended up slipping through the A door, walking all the way through. So the fact that you don't have to worry about like an A lurk being there or a deposit makes the retake just even that much stronger for Wada, understanding that, okay, no one's sitting outside of A because Power slipped through that door. And we can just put all of our sites, all of our utility on the actual site itself. But it's going to be an A brawl this round for Wada. And we'll be able to dodge all of it.
And the chamber ult popped.
Chamber ult was popped. Because of how costly that last round was for Wada. Yeah. Look at the rotation from Starbound going all the way to C site. Chamber chip is not broken yet.
They're trying, though.
Finally. Think about how much info that gives to Shopify, though. The fact that nobody swung front B that entire time.
Yeah, they're playing real soft on that.
Yeah, it makes you understand that, okay, there's probably a heavy lean towards C, and I think that's why you see the spike leaning towards A. Obviously, there's still, 3 members here. See, Qualifier Rebellion are trying to fake that A pressure, but the problem is with nobody tapping that door, I feel like Wada will have a good read and understanding of where the members of Shopify are trying to go towards. You just saw a TP be put down from Starbound, so yeah, already Wada are prepping for the C hit.
Yeah, I think that fade dog A kind of confirmed it too, in case there wasn't enough clues the other way around, but SRG getting a couple of openers across really both sites, and now they have B for theirs to take. Starbound still is the ult, as we mentioned previously. Arctic Cell spamming through, not connecting. 10 seconds left to get the spike down and succeeding.
Almost a cheeky little spam on the planter.
Yeah, that would have been nerdy.
Retake this. This is just so difficult. Like you gotta hope that Shopify give you a way in. The spam's just not connecting. That's a way in though.
That's a massive way in. Big kill out from Juno. Powerpixel getting another, but Donut again has to be the safety valve, and that's exactly what they are. Starbound with rifle now, and ult in hand pushing forward into a 1v2 as the spike has been ticking for a little while now. Starbound has to get proactive in this. Cannot afford to take a step back, but unfortunately, it's the only play that's allowed in. It's the only play that's allowed. Donut gets 3 as SRG do as well.
So disciplined once the numbers are in their favor. Like just holding for any type of push. The fundamentals are very strong right now. Yeah. And the front B deposit that Shopify had, just hearing all those rotations, catching the timing, allows for the pivot. Astralis also just got util bombed out of C. So a lot of things working really well right now for a Shopify Rebellion, looking like a well-oiled machine in the server. Wada now are left on an eco round. Front B walk can get punished as well.
Yeah, it was the turret, it was Dodo, and it was Noya. No shot.
Look, we're 5 rounds in right now, and Dodo Nut already should probably get another showstopper for the following. It's just absurd. And then you couple that with the other ultimates that are coming online for you. Sarah's getting close to an ult. Alexis is bound to get her ult. There's just so much for Shopify to further their snowball. Yeah, Starbound will be able to get an operator online in the next round, but I mean, you got some heavy-hitting ults coming online to deny that value.
And just at the right time.
Yeah. This game of Valorant, you know, when you factor in, you know, abilities and the way that you can chain ultimates to string you rounds in important times, it can make the game just feel so difficult.
Mm-hmm. And so what here? They've upgraded a weapon for Power Pixel. Kind of on the outside looking in here. We've known Wada to attempt situations such as these and to try to make a run at it, even though it seems like it's an impossible situation. And an attempt was made. It wasn't a very successful one, but an attempt was made. Wada left in 1v4.
Yeah, last time these two teams clashed, Wada had some of the most ridiculous thrifties I've seen against a team like Shopify. It just looks like this Shopify is just a lot more, just prepped for the chaos, I would say.
Yeah.
Playing a lot more fundamentally sound, not trying to, you know, play the same game as Wada. I think that's where stuff slips away for Shopify. And here's the timeout for Wada. You got to figure something out here because your comp is defense-sided, you would think, right? With the deadlock, with the chamber. So far, it's just not really showing much value other than the 1B retake round we saw. And I think it was Shopify's bonus at Wada 1?
Yeah, I believe so.
As we look at the scoreboard here, you look at Dodonut just, dropping a nuke in the server almost.
Yeah, a super casual 12-2.
What? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Just another day for Donut. And I do think as we sit through this timeout and Wada look to try to regain and recollect the kind of mess they find themselves in, it was Donut who was by far the biggest star in their last matchup. And Noya put up a pretty ridiculous performance as well, but Donut went plus 23 in their last matchup against Wada. So I'm not surprised for us to be continuing to have this Donut discourse because she's insane.
Yeah, Donut has been absolutely lights out as soon as she joined this roster of Shopify Rebellion, and you're seeing why the pickup was made. The way that she maneuvers with that operator. Here's that smoke that I was telling you about. Lurk smoke.
Yeah, it's so tough. You're absolutely right. You can face it from a couple of different sides. Yep, and it counters the one way. Yeah. It's very nice.
It's enough value to push off the members that are trying to fight that C line, but there's still front B pressure here from Starbound holding that operator. And look at the mini-map. It just feels like Mel knows. I think just Mel understands. We didn't see the chamber at C. So the chamber's either on the A line, which we have this Viper wall to kind of like isolate, get closer to, and pop on. Or the chamber's front B. You're able to deduct with like just good reasoning based off of that C default in the beginning. And the Fade Alt is going to hit this A site potentially. Maybe Fade Alt for Fade Alt here.
Both of them are going to whiff. And it's Donut. I don't even think Donut got the rocket off.
No. Plucked out of the sky by the Odin of power.
Seconds left.
Mel playing up in the smoke.
Oh, here's where the chamber gets out. Or
Well,
not.
it's going to try. Meanwhile, Mel applying a lot of the pressure up in stairs. A bit of a distraction as Femboy had to deal back with that. They're in a really awkward spot because you're right. Femboy has B main, and they have pressure coming out of B heaven. They have to understand where this pressure is coming from, and look at the position from them. SRG concerned, watching Broken. Having to keep an eye on main and heaven as well. Femboy gets the first noise on the trade with the op. Femboy getting 4. Was that a snap onto the last kill onto Alexis? What was that?
I don't know. There's good utility being used, that's for certain, though. That paranoia really opened up the retake for Wada, but yeah, that front B pressure from Starbound just staying there the entire round. Shopify, they didn't have any space on that post plant. They were all stuck playing default. And this is really the pick that set up Wada to win the round in the first place, was that Fade ultimate into like basically it was snappy, huh?
That's insane.
Yeah, that was insane. I think Femboy needed that too to like kind of like get the confidence building up as well on the Rays themselves. But Power had such an important kill there with that Odin kill onto the showstopper of Dodona. Game plan was to take A initially or Shopify, and that got stuffed. Proactivity now from Wada all the way into A main. The reaction you would think from Shopify would be to take C fast. That just doesn't make sense.
No.
I'm sorry.
I mean, a belter of a shot out from Sarah.
That just doesn't make sense.
I guess asleep at the wheel. That's a tough spot.
Just too dialed in on the angle that Sarah is in currently, I guess, to be able to hit a flick. Everything's left up to Power now to get as many as possible. But that's the audio cue that now you know. Yeah, Sarah gets a free kill on the Power.
Yeah, and even then, like the fact that Sarah was able to slip ahead of the wall, not get hit by the haunt, and keep position concealed was really nice. Beautifully played by SRG. Yeah. Yep.
Look at this too. Killjoy all invested. Like,
30 seconds
it's
left.
just SRG know that this is such an important round to win because it just destroys the economy
Down A.
of Wada.
Happy to invest a little bit to make sure
Spike planted.
that the round is secured. Astralis pushing forward into 1v3. That's one, and that was the easy one. And that is two, so all of a sudden we're in a 1v1.
No way.
Astralis waiting for the bait. Noya has an op. Astralis has to take this aggressive line. They know. Astralis on the swing, and Noya's there on the shot. The round secured for SRG.
That's sharp from Noya. Holy, but we got to give props to Sarah, like we were talking about, that using the Viper wall to max efficiency, dodging that haunt, getting the one up on both members that were holding that A line. These are crazy entries from your Viper. That's what you want your Viper to be doing on a map like Lotus. They're solo towards the A side of the map. You're showing heavy C default. And now it's a pivot. Now you have Sarah lurking towards the C side of the map.
It was no early challenge. But you're right. Like a different approach to the situation. Starbound holding the middle of the map with the headhunter has been pretty quiet for Starbound, all things considered.
Yeah, Shopify have been doing a really good job of Starbound playing, using utility to flush them out. Layers of utility here. Roomba, Prowler, and all the meanwhile, Mel is taking a isolated fight onto A. And now the main pack is going C.
Turtle
this is
help.
some really good macro. Yeah.
I mean, it's beautifully done. Noya now has to give that angle up. Lost all A contain. And Juno was there to punish. And now the op has been picked up. Very costly weapon. SRG in a numbers advantage. And it is just that gun for Starbound. And they're going to have to get through the pit. My brother, this round is cooked.
It's so difficult. I think right now, if I'm Wada, I'm definitely saving this off. Like, just put yourself in a good spot.
Yeah, I agree.
To allow Starbound to op multiple rounds in succession, because like this was the demise of Wada's defense on Sunset. Was there was no operator play on the defensive side from Starbound because of how things were going. Now you have a chance to move some stuff around. You've seen the value that Starbound gets with the op. Like, you kind of have to fall default on that.
Yeah, and it was so odd there. Even that just felt like a whole lot of, we're going in, but we're not going to go in, but we're going in, but we're not going in. It looked like they were leaving C, and then they decide to go back in. I don't remember exactly who it was. It wasn't Juno, it wasn't Starbound. The third player dies because of spam through the pit, and then they decide they want to take a step back. There was very easily a spot there where they could have lost the op, and all that would have been for naught.
Yeah. These are things that happen to you when stuff just starts snowballing out of control.
Yeah.
We get the replay of the whiff of Noya, but keep in mind she has hit some really nice shots the previous two rounds, winning that 1v1 as well. Here we go, though. Let's see if this operator can get value. It's only going to be Sarah at the other end of this, though. It's the same approach as the last round, 1-3-1. This time, Mel feeling really aggressive, TPing all the way into that rubble space. Found. That chamber TP gets flushed out, and now you get map control. I mean, complete map control. Front B, C. Well, if Mel decides to start walking out of A, you have all of that space. And then you just deduct where the stack is at, and you feel like Shopify are in a really good spot to win this round as well, in terms of the macro game, at least.
They should. They're in a position for it. You're absolutely right.
Look, that's the A space being gathered as well. You have complete map control right now.
Weird behind the wall. Maybe stuck on the other side of the smoke. How much do they bite on this fake? Because that's exactly what it is. One quick note there. Astralis put the wall down to deny a flood out of C on all of the noise made A. And now they realize that it is all a fake. They're trying to rotate back to C as quickly as they can. All of the utility from Astralis will try to keep them at bay. Really nice swing from Astralis, but Sarah was ahead of it. Doesn't get hit by the stun. Even that ping pong on the swing out from C is beautiful. SRG are so far ahead here.
They're baiting out all the deadlock utility, the nade, the stuns.
10 seconds left.
Still a shot at this, so Power Pixel arriving at the scene and getting 2. And Boy will find 2 with the rocket. And all of this talk about the macro was great and the utility playing around was great for SRG. All of it is for naught. When the rocket finds 2 and then Power Pixel gets 3 on the round.
Yeah, it was a beautifully set up round, but this is why we love Valorant, baby. Doesn't matter how well you actually play it, you just get taken out by the retake from Power. Those shots from Water was a bit of an oversight from Shopify. I think Shopify put so much investment into trying to deny Starbound's operator in CT, and it leaves a major gap. And look at that tether value that we're seeing. It's just massive. Couple that with a showstopper. Yeah. A picture-perfect retake from Wada. But can you rely on that consistently? I don't know if you can.
No, surely not. But I mean, you don't have to. How many are you looking for here to keep this competitive, Dre?
I mean, listen, Wada in their last game against Catface destroyed on the attacking side. So, I mean, if they can replicate that, I guess it's not too crazy. I mean, if you can get to 5, I think, for Wada, maybe?
Maybe. And if it is all 5 that they have to get to, maybe they can get away with stealing a couple of rounds. Just enough to keep it close. They're going to try to speed up towards C, and that's where the op is. Starbound in a really nice position. Doesn't have a TP to get away from. So Starbound is anchored in. Keep a close eye on that. What utility can they use to flush him out? Satchel across, but the leg hits. 5 HP left for Donut. And Donut falls. The nade follow-up. And so now...
difficult.
Oh, it's borderline impossible now if you're SRG. How do you get past this? You have an op that's holding from main. You've got spam coming in from Water.
Gotta hit the heads. You gotta go for these peaks, and it's difficult to want to do that against an operator, but the double face in Water might be an opening.
It's the only one. Femboy gets 3 on the round. Power Pixel closes it up. Yeah, the tipping point for Wada came just a couple seconds before that, and then it was really almost impossible for SRG to pull that off.
Yeah, with both controllers being down and the chamber of Starbound being up with the operator, yeah, the shot doesn't fully connect for a kill, but that tag damage was enough for the nade of Femboy to just get one of the easiest utility kills of all time.
Little fadeaway.
Yeah, that is exactly. Just a little fadeaway right there. That's really, really tough. Shopify now use the timeout though to try to close out these last 2 rounds. Like I said, I think if you're Wada, all things considered, with the way that this half has been going for you, if you can get 5 rounds, you're in a decent spot, I would say. But I still feel like it's an uphill battle because the double controller Senti comp is very hard to attack against. The cycle of smokes, the multiple mollies that you have, the raise nade going into that defense. And the fact that you don't really have a lot to bait out utility or Wada, it's gonna be rough.
That works.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're finally gaining some momentum back in their favor with those last 2 rounds. They finally broke down the economy of Shopify. You should be able to get a 5th round here at the very least. You have an Odin. You have an Operator in play. You have another Deadlock ultimate from Australis. And look at the stun placement, too. It's a heavy lean for Shopify towards this A side of the map. Australis might be putting themselves in a really good spot to clean up some of these eco kills, unless they're not aware of this aggressive walk.
Oh. Yeah, Astralis gets picked there, and you're in a world of hurt. But you mentioned it, Astralis navigating all of that aggression really well. Just shares, but the barrage of utility could have been the difference maker. Femboy getting 2 on the round. And SRG's eco will go down with a whimper.
There. Satchel out. 1 enemy remaining.
Truly just a masterful display of Deadlock utility to deal with any type of fast plays onto the A site. So a flawless round from Wada. And you get to save that Deadlock ultimate. You get to bring it into the last round of the half.
What was the number you said? 5?
Yeah, I think 5 was going to be a decent spot for Wada to be put in, considering the strong start that Shopify had, right? Like, this easily felt like Shopify could have ran away with this thing, man. Like a 9-3 almost.
Yep. I mean, but if not for the last 3 rounds, that's probably the spot where we're at, right? That's probably what we're talking about. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Femboy is now 1 kill off a showstopper as well. Oh, that eye connects. You got to get out of there.
Narrowly missing that shot, but that's honestly, that's the kind of play you want out of your chamber, right? If you're going to play chamber, part of it is you have to push the timings, you have to push the limits a little bit, and see what you can get away with. Noya has very little help here. Sarah's going to try to swing back. Okay, they don't continue their pursuit. They don't double down.
Yeah,
they're actually giving all that space back.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting because you could tell that Shopify were positioned and ready to try to go for a C hit there. And had they actually done that, Starbound had no backup. Nobody was close enough to rotate because of the 3 players being in mid. But now it's sight sets back on A, and you saw the value these Deadlock traps got in the last round. See if Shopify can navigate those a little bit better in this. But you imagine that Deadlock ultimate is going to be used as well.
You would think so.
Shadows traveling.
It's like Shopify are just setting up some A pressure and a deposit, but the heavy lean is actually towards C.
Off shot not connecting. And this is all a fake as well. Even the fake TP for Mel. And now they're doubling down. Donut pops a rocket as they try to get out onto B. And it seems like they will. I love Mel's position. They have no idea. Beautifully played. The late flank out from the controller. And now Mel's going to get 3 on the round. The captain takes over. And there's no way that they push back into this. Femboy's gotten 1, not the rocket again.
Oh, it's a 1v1.
Again? Astralis looking for Alexis. Fade, I will buy some time, and now the tap. Alexis in these clutch positions so many times. Will experience be the difference maker here as Alexis just barely giving the tiniest of angles, but the shot's not connecting. 8 HP, and Astralis wins it out again for Wada.
What is that clutch? The Deadlock ultimate getting so much value.
Switching sides.
But Alexis, she thought she had that with the pre-fires because of the wallbang headshot. Surely Australis was low enough to just go down to some pre-fire sprays.
10 seconds left.
That false confidence with the dink working against Shopify Rebellion, and Alexis cannot close out the clutch. It's a 6-6 half. That's ridiculous, Doug.
Should not have gone that way at all.
What? I mean, Mel did everything to put Shopify in a spot to close that round out. Just wasn't enough.
And again, it was Alexis. It's a player who's been in those clutch 1v1s how many times?
Too many to count. Too
just
many to
not
count.
enough. Just not enough. And now, Wada on the attacking side, they managed to crest past the ever pivotal 5, the magic number 5. They got us to a 6-6 half.
It's a trap, Doug. It's
Yeah,
a trap.
they're
Tether
sniffing.
nade. Paranoia.
They're sniffing. There's the nade, or there's the tether. The nade will counter. Goodness, everything dumped that way. Holy smokes.
Both teams ready. Like, layers on the protocol, right? And they're still walking into this B smoke. Some pings on the mini-map for the attackers. Thinking somebody might be close. And now B's actually open because of that rotate of all the utility shown on C.
There are 2 members here. Donut does not have nade. Remember the trap play at the beginning of the round. And so the nade that could have been used for delay on this flood is not available. Wadded out, fully trampling out towards C. Donut's there with a little bit of help as Alexis gets another. This pistol, again, is a slaughter. I think they've only lost 1 pistol. SRG have this series, and I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
Unless Yuna can pull out a rabbit from a hat. But yeah, I mean, another pistol round win for Shopify. And that was such an awkward fight from Wada in the water. I feel like Power was way ahead of anybody else swinging. And it was honestly just 1v1. Honestly, not even 1v1s. 1v3s given to like almost every single member. Wada did a good job of avoiding this front B trap. But yeah, look at that, right? It's just 3v1, 3v1.
Yeah, it could have been messy for sure.
I feel like Wada's spacing on those fights in the water was just not it. And they got punished for it. You can't be doing that against a team like Shopify.
They will punish. They will punish. A deep smoke out towards stairs to block off Donut, wisely so. That is an outlaw on the other side.
I think it's going to be a B split here, but look at how close these members are on C mound. It'll be a tap of a door, a complete crunch of map control if this split does come into effect at A site, or on B site. Tap of the door to try to keep players to anchor there, and yeah, here comes it.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like it's exactly what it's going to be. There's the tap. The paranoia's just a little late. We'll miss the uprights, and as the wall goes down, Mel gets a couple of kills right off the bat. Homeboy with a classic. Always closer than it should be. Always! Just like, wait a second, what's going on here? And then SRG shut the door on the round.
Spike does get planted. You get some value for your economy. You know, you get a couple ult orbs on the femboy as well. But Shopify were ready for that. That was just a complete protocol of the round. Blood Heaven and tap the door. The pivot comes through. Dodo Nut was left to anchor the actual A site. Good stuff from Shopify. Good protocols into effect. When they work like that, it makes you feel even better. Oh, for Wada. Gotta get some value with this chamber. We haven't been seeing Starbound get much value at all. Remember, a player that is plus 63 in 2 matches. So far being completely stuffed out of this series.
It's just a far cry from the previous performance. You're absolutely right.
It's playing. It's such an aggressive spot.
Yeah, and it's just one. There's no help on the other side of this.
Not a judgment. It's a bulldog.
Waiting for the swing. Rotation's now starting to come through. They've bought just enough time. Oh, Alexis late. And it's just a Spectre.
This is really aggressive positioning from Alexis. This should feed information to Shopify Rebellion that these players aren't towards A anymore. That's why you see Mel pop a smoke onto C, but wanted to have read it into this, and they're doing a B walk. It is the absolute perfect call.
Oh,
See if things get scrappy, though. Yeah, there are 2 members here. They should get traded out, though.
oh, but they have guns. This isn't. Oh, Sarah tucks behind the smoke, drops the spit, and tries to get away.
Alexis sitting there like, yo, where'd you go? I thought we had this.
Yeah, I thought we were holding this. No?
Yo, what's going on right now? think if you're Shopify right now, do as much damage as possible. I mean, probably not going to win this round. Don't want to feed any more ult orbs. I mean, oof. A nice shot.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, it's just not going to be enough. Femboy 3 on the round. Flawless comes through. Why did I get back to 7? And now is when the game really starts. Now, remember, in the previous map, I know we've talked about Sunset a fair amount, but for good reason. It was because they converted the bonus, yes, but the second half was just a slaughter. And so SRG seemed to do that to teams where the first half is a little, yeah, you know, whatever, and then they just arrive in a wild way. So if history were to repeat itself, this is where I would expect this to start.
Mm-hmm. And you have an Odin and an operator yourself online into this round. That being said, everyone is geared up towards C. It is basically the double Senti setup here for Shopify Rebellion. You're going to have Viper Spit. You're going to have that Viper Smoke coming up as well. Double KJ Molly's Alarm Bot. So much utility here. But it's just broken wide open by Femboy.
Yep. Whoa! Finding value there. Ooh, Femboy. Almost getting another. But Noya tucked in the smoke waiting. Is there a paranoia play here? No, Juna's already used it. It's actually a paranoia coming in on the other side. Noya swings at just the right time. Juna falls. Gonna try to hold this back to the water for just a little bit. Now the wall expires. Do they know Dodonut's position here? Oh, no, they didn't.
Enemy remaining.
Beautiful shot out from Dodonut. That op has just been filthy. And now Starbound's left in this 1v3, and it's awkward at best. SRG gets to 9.
Just like some of the most unreal reaction time and flicks that we've seen from an Opera in GC. Donut is, again, like you said, just looks so good on this op in this series and previous series. Oh, one of the best offers we've seen. And
yeah,
it's the battle of the raises right now, but I have to point out, when you're running a solo controller composition and you play aggressive like that and you fall, you're so bad for your team in the post plant that they have to do a top sight hold onto water. I feel like Juna just a little too aggressive into spawn there. Maybe have somebody else do it. Maybe have it be Starbound.
But you remember it was on, oh no, it was on this map that we were talking about how that's often an Achilles heel for them, for Wada, is when they get in a post plan, say, oh no, it was on Sunset, we were talking about B, but they try to scale up too far.
Yeah.
We'll see if that comes up again, to rotate back towards A. There's no aggressive line here from SRG.
Yeah, that Prowler being used front B, I think makes Wada believe that potentially an operator posted up on that line. That's why they do the lean towards A. That being said, there are 3 members here. And an Odin from Mel. Paranoia being invested, but you have to reload that gun.
Manages to find safety. Try to reload that thing. Meanwhile, Donut falls because of it. This is not clear yet. They're not out of the woodworks on this. SRG have a couple of members here. No ults to speak of. But that Odin that we mentioned just a few moments ago is potent. I do not think Sarah got tagged. So Sarah might be able to creep up. Femboy waiting for the push out from back tree. Sarah spotting it. Power Pixel on the swing, and it's a swing into death. Sarah's there to decapitate. That spam will continue to be a problem. Femboy's already taking a ton of damage as well. Trying to change weaponry, and the double kill from Femboy might just secure the round. No, it's still a 2v2. Mel left alone. 29 HP. Time is short.
Stun on the spike.
Seemingly impossible. There's no way Mel gets through this.
Wow. I mean, it was a little too close for comfort, in my opinion, because of, I feel like, I don't know what to call it, ADHD in the post plant. I mean, like, Power Pixel just running out of default and trying to take a solo swing against 3 right there. Femboy almost dropping the spam multiple times. I feel like it was kind of fortune on the side of Wada there for the lineup kill from Femboy. I mean,
yep.
Which, by the way, 21 and 13. Respect where respect is due, but
yeah, quietly
still,
20+ game. Mm-hmm.
I think that the wanting to be proactive in the post plant for Wada is kind of something that we've been talking about quite a bit, and it almost slipped away for them there because you have deadlock traps on the spike. I mean, you could really just play a disciplined approach right there, and it makes it really impossible for Shopify to feel like they have any type of chance at all.
Yeah, the fact that there was even a possibility at something there is
right,
probably more than they bargained for.
And
so
that's the power of this comp.
Yeah,
the double senti. You're able to put on like aggressive deadlock trips. You're gonna have that nade recharge to use in the post plant.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. SRG calling their last timeout.
Mm-hmm. Economy broken too, so
yeah.
The way that Wada have been navigating around this map, you imagine this will be a even score going into the next gun round. Starbound buying the Outlaw as well to make it even just that much harder. A lot of info gathered for Wada. Tether nade on the A site. But it's all to flood everybody towards C. Mel is here with smokes, paranoia as well. If enough chaos is created and these players of Wada get caught with the limited utility that Shopify have, maybe you could bar Thrifty.
Possibly. That's a big if, though. And that's if they pick the wrong site, if the utility pops off. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
A lot of taps at the door. It looks like members of Wada do want to end C.
Oh gosh, is this the slaughter? They're maybe trying to clear out a little bit of utility. 2 nanos still in play.
Made utility use that A, but no one's budging for the side of SRG. That Wada were hoping to bait out a rotation. And yeah, now you have to go back, but with limited time, it's getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For Wada.
Yep, 30 seconds left. Meanwhile, Alexis is spotting this whole time, and now they know. The door tapped, 18 seconds left. Surprised they're not trying to rotate faster.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I guess, although it is down to the wire, literally only 3 seconds before they couldn't plant the spike. No one was here. Rotations didn't come in, so they do get a 3-site plant, and what should have been easy pick'ems is a 4v4 now.
Still should be relatively effortless given the guns that they don't have, but well, we'll see how things play out. Juna tucked on the other side of the wall. Going to try to TP out as Donut satchels out onto the site. They're trying to play these close angles, but again, the guns are just they're just not enough. There's not enough to fight back there. I think the window that they had for securing the round was in the delay sieve, but as soon as the rotate didn't come through A quickly, I think that was it.
Yeah, it was done. Imagine that rotate had actually come through, though. You have 3 seconds of time to spare. It probably would have been good.
Yeah, you just delay a little bit and you're done.
Right? So, why did I need to be wary of letting rounds come down to the wire like that? Because Shopify aren't going to make the same mistake twice.
Play, let's play.
Operator in the hands of Donut once again with a showstopper. 5 ultimates actually online for Shopify Rebellion to use as they wish. And if you're Wada right now, you need to try to bait some of those out before you actually get the spike planted. Otherwise, the retake game is strong for Shopify. First pit was infested onto C with a deep alarm bot as well. That alarm bot's not broken either. So no need to want to have anybody lean towards C for you. Shopify, and that allows you to play a heavy, strong B and A.
And until that trip gets cleared, the one that you were just talking about, that side of the map is just not available for Wada.
You have 3 players towards B with a Viper wall that can go up. Ooh, deadlock mode.
And it connected. I thought it was going to be a little deep, but it finds its mark. They're going to try to commit.
Now used.
Yeah, but again, the pit's not going to be dealt with. And meanwhile, Sarah, I feel like applying all of that pressure. They tried rotating back to C, and they just walked into Sarah. And so now they don't have the spike. They don't really have any map control, and they're in a 2v4.
So awesome. Yeah, I think you just save. There's no way. There's no time. Still trying to do damage to the economy maybe of Shopify, but yeah, you just take too much time. The Killjoy ultimate makes things very awkward for you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna run all the way back to C and run through a Viper's pit? You're gonna push the KJ ultimate and the spike, and this is the worst case scenario. You get completely crunched. Spike is down in a very unadvantageous position. Shopify played their ultimates very well, and they still have 3 to fall back on. Now the economy of Wada is broken. That was a very big swing round. What is this aggression, Doug, from Dodonut? The confidence you have to have an operator in the back of mound, but you jump into the smoke with a shorty is ridiculous.
I mean, I respect it.
Yeah, it's for real.
And there's
Still
a little
have
bit of
the
help.
line.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Donut still has the line. Mel's clearing the prowlers for her. The patience pays off. Holy smokes. Unreal. Noya gets another. Donut does fall to the nade. Of all things.
Mel is left on an island now, and there should be a call for a B split. I mean, you have control of Broken Door. Oh, Mel dodging that fade eye masterfully. This could be very difficult now for Wada. It looks like they want to go back A, though. And it is the right call. Tap of a door would have sold it even more, but it's not needed because A side is completely open right now. I spoke about how the last round was a swing round, but if Wada can win this, all of a sudden the tides are turning.
Oh, 1,000%.
And look at and look at the utility that Australis has right now. You have 2 sensors on deadlock. You still have a wall. You have a nade for the post plant. Power upgrades to an operator because of the tether nade used on the mound. Wada are in a really good spot to secure this round win. Sensor on the spike.
Alexis
You have a
has ult.
showstopper.
Yeah, Alexis has ult, and Mel has ult too. Maybe reposition towards tree or something, or towards main to help apply some pressure elsewhere. That dink is going to hurt, though. Mel's already dead. And now the ult is popped.
Oh,
This has gone off the rails. Alexis just has to save.
Australis just had such an important round to keep Wada in the game and potentially put them in a spot to get a lead in this map of Lotus.
And potentially push us to ascend.
Right?
I mean, we were talking about this at the beginning of the cast. I don't think... I mean, none of us gave him a shot.
Mm-hmm. The way that this map was going, yeah, you thought that Shopify had this in the bag, a 2-0 after stealing away Wada's map pick. So convincing. But this lurk, the double lurk timing. Starbound giving their life for Australis to pop off.
As good teammates too.
Yeah, completely destroying the defense. So although Starbound isn't really popping off themselves, still having a lot of impact. Now an attack operator in play, but still can't connect. No way the counter thrifty is happening right now, Doug.
I mean, weapons upgraded. Wada might fumble this bag.
If it's an icebox all over again, that's 3 picks.
Oh boy.
There's no need for heroics in a round like this. It's okay that you drop a member early. You could still win the round, but that follow-up swing,
1 enemy remaining.
it just makes it impossible for you to win the round.
What a mess.
The other 2 swings. Why did I let this one slip away? 4v1, 4v1 for Juna. This is just... You do have paranoia. Nah.
Yeah, I couldn't do the mental gymnastics to figure out a place for that to work.
Wow. That is just not how you expected the round to go, given how... I guess, given how the previous round went. You would feel like this is a good time to kind of ease into things. You know that the opponent team is on a thrifty buy. And now your economy is left left in a bad spot too. You have a Bulldog, regen armor onto Femboy, who's been popping off. Sheriff in the hands of power. We'll see though. Let's see if it's thrifty onto thrifty onto thrifty. A three-peat.
Yeah, back to the Icebox days. I can't imagine. Yep. I mean, we'll see though. Alexis behind dealt with Zona, pops the ult, finds one onto Astralis.
Doug, that was the Omenal play you were talking about. The Fade Ult and Omenal, but that chamber trip
kind of gave it away.
Yeah, sniffing that one out. But still, like, the idea was there. That was sick. Ooh, Starbound gets taken out by Donut. That's a huge pick.
Yeah.
This puts Shopify in a really good spot.
In a fantastic spot. And this is, again, still the same spot they find themselves from after the thrifty from the last round. That was Wada who had a position to open things up.
Yep.
And they're still kind of in that spot here. No, Power Pixel just won off of their ult. But they have no map control. They have no idea if C's been taken away. And so they're just kind of forced to tuck a main and hope for the best.
Yeah. That turret, front B, gave so much info to Shopify as well. It's just a fortified defense here towards B and A site. If you're able to isolate Alexis, though, and maybe kill the Flood from Mel and Dodonut, that is your way in, but it's crazy.
1v1 and Power Pixel wins it out.
This is unreal. Thrifty into thrifty into thrifty, Doug. I guess that last buy from Wada was a little bit stronger than the other two. But still.
Should have lost. Yeah.
Flurry of trades. This is why you don't run through those smokes. Masterfully done from Power. And now, another swing round. Wada will have no buy if they lose this. Shopify Rebellion will have no buy if they lose this.
And they're all stacked towards C.
This is as important of a round as it gets.
Paranoia connecting, the dog connecting. Mel managing to TP away.
Juna.
That's a lot of utility use, but Juna was up. Aggressive into that. Meanwhile, Mel tucked in the smoke. Another reposition at an attempt to stay alive, but Mel pays for it with her life. Oh my goodness. Is that Deadlock Glove gonna hit? No.
It doesn't, and it doesn't buy space either. There is no flood in from Wadada's attack. That alarm bot is still up as well. And even if you pivot back towards A site, Dodonut has an aggressive line with the operator. Your best bet right now is to go B, but there's just no way for you to know that.
Right. I mean, you're just completely starved of info anywhere else on the map. And that's why you see Femboy pushing a judge, by the way, and taking deep angles, trying to alleviate some of that pressure and go on a bit of an exploratory mission. You can only find so much. You're right. The turret's going to give away the first bit. Off of that proc, Alexis is here. Give some of that space up, and Wada somehow, again, a subversion of expectations. They find themselves in a spot, and they might get the spike down. They might win the round.
Yeah, you've got a stun again onto the water flood, but this tap of the door from Sarah might be the deciding factor in this retake. How much value can Sarah get? She hears the jump spots of Australis, who's sitting at 2 HP. One spam through this box will do the job.
There's the tap. Our Pixel falls. And Femboy, again, with the judge. There's Sarah on the prowl, like you mentioned, Femboy. A judge in a 1v3 in a post plant. There's just no way you're converting that. SRG gets a series point. These last rounds have been so close, Trey. So
close. Shopify, and it comes down to the wire. They are always the ones that seem to come out on top. All that experience shines in those clutch moments when there's so much on the line, Doug. And Wada are left to scraps. We've seen them get 2 thrifties already on this map. But Juna had such a good spot right there and just couldn't execute. One small mistake made it so there was no smokes for that post plant. And although that B site was gathered from Wada, they're left to use their last timeout. Try to throw a miracle round together.
With what? A Stinger? I mean, dude, look at the
Bucky,
buy.
Sheriff, regen armor on power. Starbound has been shut out of this map of Lotus. The highest rated player in main stage.
I will say this. Even though the buy looks bad, and let's be perfectly clear, it looks really bad.
Yes.
If we've learned anything in this second half, is that no round is safe. Right, yeah.
You are going up against a Killjoy ultimate, though. You need to make this a very chaotic round for SRG. It needs to be something wild. It needs to be double satchels onto the head of a member. It needs to be breaking the sights of Dodonut, not allowing her to hit a nice flick.
But Dodonut's been known for those nice flicks, man. Dodonut's been automatic with the flicks, but instead of satchel out, there was what you were looking for. An attempted satchel out. Oh, and Fanboy hunts Dodonut down. There was no cover. There was no help. How in the world did Fanboy get away with that? And now the op has been upgraded. All of a sudden, life has been breathed into this round for Wada.
Oh my goodness. Lexus. Dude, the lockdown got destroyed as well. Oh. No way, Doug.
5v3. Can SRG save this? The net will buy time. Alexis waiting on the other side of it. Yep. Because you know she's going to get swung as soon as that happens. Alexis is forced to sit and watch and wait. And if you try to slow peek into this, you're just going to die anyway.
Oh my god, it's working!
There's no way Alexis gets away with highway robbery! But still, a 2v3. Still the need to convert. Royale gets one. Time is short. Power Pixel saves the round for Wada. We're going to OT.
This is absolutely ridiculous, Doug. Everything we just saw in this round was insane. It had to go right for Wada. We set it up perfectly. You had to break the sight lines of Dodonut to not hit a flick. But the fact that Femboy still gets that pick after messing up the initial rollout is bonkers. This kill was bonkers.
Last player standing.
The fact that it comes down to a 2v2 is even more ridiculous, but there was no time.
And even then, Power Pixel saving the round for Wada in case there was the tiniest of windows to get through.
Oh, my goodness.
SRG on the attack of OT.
Yeah, we go into OT, Doug. We go into OT. Chamber operator hasn't gotten much value so far, but if there was ever a time to need to step up for your team, it's right here, it's right now. To let this go to Ascent, a map that you have beaten Shopify on convincingly.
You got to convert. You got to earn the opportunity to get there. And Wada are giving it one hell of a run.
Good bait of deadlock sensors. There's still one to follow up. That deadlock wall being used. A minute in. Allows for Australis to reposition deep into sight.
Danger there. Deciding to clear the wall out. No swing from behind the site for Wada.
Oh. There's still utility to be used here for Shopify. I feel like all of Alexis's utility is back up. You can really flush out Starbound here, and they will do just that. So the chamber is found out at A. A lot of the time, Shopify have found out where this chamber is. They've gone the other way. That's what you're seeing on the mini-map right now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what they're doing. Juna's the only one here on the site. Yeah, there's a sound sensor further back, but Juna has to stay alive for this. They're going to try to satchel through Juna. Aggro into the smoke. Donut's there on the trade. 10 seconds left in the round. They're going to try to rotate back towards B. There is a little bit of space grabbed by Noya. Unless there's a flood out from Spawn.
No!
And nobody's holding Spawn!
You gotta live!
Gets 3 on the round, but Starbound's not going to get pushed. The Red Bull clutch. Wada have the lead in OT.
This is unbelievable.
Switching sides.
Down to the wire. No time to plant. Juna slipping into that smoke like a thief into the night. Taking out Sarah was massive. The pivot was almost perfect. Had that plant been closer to the wall, that punish doesn't come through. Starbound just needed to live for 2 seconds and did just that. And now, a chance to close out the map pick of Shopify. Wada. All sights set towards A, an attack side operator for Starbound, who connected 2 kills at the very end. That could be enough to bring confidence to get this first blood. Shopify have a deep C deposit here, though. Donut needs to come up huge here in this corner, but it's so hard to do. Mel with support. See if this goes unchecked.
Here.
It's a fine line. The knife's edge.
Paranoia towards B. Net will tag Mel. Dodo's close by. There is no help. Mel gets pushed off this angle. There's a shot at this, but now Donut, after getting one, is going to have to deal with the paranoia. The satchel to spam. Is there anything else? Yeah, it's actually Juna who's getting a little bit of high ground. Mel's there to trade back and stay alive.
30 seconds left.
Every time the Smokes player has been taken out for Wada, it's been a B pivot. They're faking it so far, but it's fortified. Mel, it's all left to her.
Again, Owen Astralis is ready.
That's crazy. Time, though. Time is limited.
But they should be able to get out on C just fine. Keep a close eye on Power Pixel's position. This late lurk, if they decide to go in through B, could be everything. And now they're going to have to wait out the deadlock wall on the other side. They cannot afford to sit there.
There's a sensor water. There's a sensor pillar. All signs are leading towards a good Wada post plant. First contact. Connects!
Sarah down. Alexis and Noya left alone in this 2v3 to try to keep this map alive, to try to avoid having to go to Ascent. I'm pretty sure I just saw it. Noya doesn't have a ton to work with here. Alexis on the swing. Power Pixel's there. Can Noya get the defuse? Starbound CP's gonna have him close. It's been gotten to half. I don't think Power Pixel's gonna get there. Oh my gosh, he does!
Attackers win.
Wada closes it out. We're going the distance. We're going to Ascent.